Hey guys, so today we're going to do our first full episode of Tuckered Out Life, the one in October. We did an intro and then talked to you guys yesterday about how I dropped the ball. So here we go, full one. We're going to talk about the same thing most people are really looking at right now, how we are handling social distancing in our house as well as the quarantine with what's going on. So where we live, we're not really fully in lockdown mode. We are in quarantine, so to speak, go out for the essentials, grocery store, run some errands, things like that. I actually just got back from my school because they gave us a small window of time to go in there and grab some last things that we needed so that we can begin e-learning, and I'll briefly touch on that here as we go forward. So a little disclaimer as we move forward, I'm not a doctor. I am a middle school teacher. I have taught middle school, high school, and elementary school, mostly in history. Right now teaching family and consumer science, which is awesome because I get to talk about life skills, which is really a big thing right now with what's going on. So this is just going to be, once again, an update on our family, some of our friends, things that we have been doing, things that other people have been doing, just to kind of keep you guys updated and also give you some little tips for people that may be struggling right now, and things like that. So everybody's been impacted. So whether you are a believer in what's going on, like, hey, this is legit, for real, which we all know it is because we have people that we know, people have other people around the world. But if you look at the numbers, you may be a skeptic that says, hey, this isn't that. Or if you're on both sides of the fence, because, some of us, myself included, some days I'm on one side, some days I'm on the other. But the biggest thing with what we try to do in our family is we try to steer clear of the political side of it. And anytime someone does try to make it political, that's definitely one of those times where I do kind of turn you off. So my focus is, really my family and how can we make sure people are safe. So what are we doing here in our household? It's really about 5 things that we're doing. We're trying to stay positive, first of all. We're trying to make sure we stay healthy. We're going to stay active. We're going to keep learning, and we're going to be a family, which, with this slowdown and people having to stay together, being a family is kind of, the biggest part of it. And that's something that's always been important to us, our faith, our family, and then whatever we're doing after that. And times we got busy, but then in our slowdown times, there's times we're bringing together. And so that's really what it was. And now all of our families are really close together. So everything that we're doing, we're trying to make sure it's family oriented, and everybody has a say in it. So how we're doing this is pretty simple. So we've sat down as teachers. We've kind of gone through and we've created a schedule. You can see here, this is mine, color coordinated it. Blue is exercise. The orange is kind of like when I'm filming. So I've got definitely filming time in here for this, for our program, for school once I get going back with that. We got red is, when I'm doing my time with my kids. Some of the blue is also with my son, who we exercise, work out together. So kind of have that going on in there. And then green is kind of the chores. I've only got one, but really my wife and I said, look, you have a lot of things, so we don't have a list. Kids have the same thing, and they have their daily chores underneath. So just trying to be structured. Last week was our school spring break, so we kind of got off the structure. This week we're getting back, and it helps everything go along as we do it. We have been told that this week as teachers and our kids as students will get a better detail of how the e-learning experience will take place, because in Alabama our schools are done as far as being in the building. So we're going to be teaching like this. Our school system uses Google Classroom. I know other school systems use Blackboard, and other great things that are out there. Having done my master's degree online many years ago, I do know that this is something that is very, very important and things that can be done. So it's a good thing that we're able to do instead of just being done. The students that don't have access to technology, school systems are setting up ways for them to come and get hard packets, information. So I promise you, all teachers, all people involved in education, the boots on the ground, are really want to make sure that the kids don't lose what's going on. So the schedule is what we have, and that's what we're doing. Like I said, for this week, got it blocked out. Each block, as you saw up there, really was like an hour time frame. So sometimes, and I told my son, since he's a high school kid, we said, hey, you get your chores done, you get your schoolwork done, you get your exercise done, whatever's left, that's you. Because, hey, we all know, in real life, that's the way it works. Your boss gives you a job, tells you to go knock it out. You get it done. You get it done the right way. The rest of the times you have to do whatever you need to. This also allows us to have designated times for what we got. We got our exercise time. we have our learning school time, we have our reading time, we have our chores, and then we also have our family time. So same thing we would have normally done, except there was that huge block of the day that was school related. It's where my wife and I were teaching, our kids were in school, then they had their activities. Well, we've kind of done the same thing, but now it's like it was in college or like it is really in the real world. You kind of get to block it out, and our kids are getting to see that as far as that goes. As far as staying healthy and active, we kind of group those together. That's really important. So as a coach, former athlete, that is something, and both of our kids are involved in athletics. That is something that is important to our family, because we don't just, as a coach, I don't just want to say it and preach it. We also try to live it. So we have workouts that are designed for our athletes that are set up. Coach Myers from Ohio State, old school gym. Sorry, Coach. We've been using a lot of his stuff. Used it for years, along with several other guys from all of our years of training, and that's kind of what we're kind of modeling our things about. And so my son and I are working with those programs, and then my daughter and her gymnastics, they've sent her workouts, so those are set up, and my wife is actually following those with her. I love to run, love trail run, so I'm adding the running in on top of that. And then my wife is also doing her running. She said, that's something she used to enjoy. And so now it gives her a chance. So the good thing about the quarantine and the social distancing is it's actually giving us a chance to get back into things that we enjoy and, really make sure that we're taking care of our bodies on top of that. The biggest thing that some people do forget about whenever they are working out is the fact that your diet is a big component to what you are doing as far as physically, but as well as what you're doing mentally, because we don't want to stop our learning. So by setting up our schedule and our structure, we're now able to do what we normally would do during a normal school week, and that is have our meals planned, breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinners all set up, and really monitor what you do with what's going on. So maybe you guys were like we were, even during spring break and quarantine, and next thing you know, it's like, oh my God, we're home all the time. And it seems like we were constantly running to the store to grab this, grab that, because we were going through things. But now that we've set up our structure and our plan, we're able to tell the kids, hey, look, we're going to treat this like it's school. You got breakfast, we'll have a little time for snacks, set that out. All right, now you got to make your lunch, and then so on and so forth. We got our dinner plan set up like we normally do, and we just run through. So now we can make sure that we're being active. We can make sure that we are doing our learning. And most importantly, we can make sure we're putting the right things in our body so that we can do what we're trying to do within each of us, because we all have different goals as we go through. So now, with all that being said, as a person that, being a wrestling coach, we want our guys to be healthy and be active. If being healthy is important to you, which it is to me, which it is to my family, then we got to be active. But if we're going to be active, we got to make sure that we eat and live healthy. So they go hand in hand. So it's one of those things, you can't have one and then you can't go and work out, train. You hear this a lot of times with people, and train, then you go and eat junk, or you can't eat junk or take this diet pill and think it's going to make you lose all this weight, all this fat diets, and all of a sudden the little bomber says with proper diet and exercise. They go hand in hand, and it is hard, it is a consistency, but the good thing about doing this as a family is that we kind of have our own accountability there. And if you don't have accountability there, reach out. Golly, with the quarantine stuff like that, I'm getting so many items with my coaching buddies, former athletes, former college athletes, friends, teammates, and just people I've met. And then, heck, just join some groups. I started trail running a few years ago and working my way up on some of those, and following that, you just see so many people out there. And right now, people are just, so much more willing, not that they weren't ahead of time, but now they're just so much more willing to jump in and kind of help you and support you. So sit down, make a schedule. Just like you would a budget for your finances, do the same thing right now. So if you're really, really focused on, hey, we've got all this time, we want to make sure we want to get ourselves in better shape, we'll do it. Because now, once this is all over, it's going to become even easier for you to continue doing that. And you'll find out those blocks of time that were there, you don't use. So put your phones down, put your tablets down, put the computers down. After I finish this, put my computer down. Turn the TVs off. That's one thing we've told with our kids. Hey, no TV, no YouTube, no nothing until after 5 o'clock, whatever time it is. And they found they had so much more time. So, and their 5-year difference, their times, their kids, we know that if you have kids, they're going to fight. But for the most part, they've done a good thing. With learning, definitely big thing you see people say is, well, now what are the kids going to do? All right, or what are teachers going to do? I can tell you right now, as teachers, we're constantly, as soon as this happened, our brains shifted to, all right, hey, what do we got to do to make sure our students keep learning? And as parents, we jump to, all right, our kids cannot fall behind. Like I said, we got a high school freshman. He's looking to, hey, he's almost year one's done. So 2 more years, he's going to be applying to colleges. So we've got to be working towards that. Daughter had a kind of rough kindergarten year, rough second grade year. Second grade year. So her reading is good, but confidence and things like that. So we don't want them to lose that. So what we did and what we're thinking about for our students is, what are the enrichments that we can do? So with our daughter, we went ahead and got the books that we would normally use over the summer to kind of help supplement what was going on. And we've been focusing with her on her math skills and on her reading, phonics, spelling, things that are important that she was already getting help in with the reading at the school level. So we want to make sure that we continue to do that with her, along with science experiments. And she's very creative. So doing the arts, which has been good for me, because after I got out of high school and things like that, kind of got away from the creative side. And so I've enjoyed getting back into the artistic things with drawing and painting and sketching. So the things with her that we are, allowing her to expand upon. And so that's kind of what we got with her. Like I just mentioned with him, we've got that this summer. We're going to have him take his ACT for the first time. So right now, until next week, this week, which starts this week, we'll find out what they're going to do. But next week he starts his schooling from his high school teachers. So right now it's, hey, ACT prep. So every day he's doing ACT prep. He's doing math. He's doing a couple other things, but really focusing on ACT prep. And Khan Academy, man, I'm gonna tell you what. If you're a parent, and you're like, I don't know what to do with Khan Academy. All right, those guys are awesome. Along with, just check out, go on and search with the internet. There's so many teachers out there doing things. They're going to be posting stuff. I'm going to be posting stuff. So with life skills and training and healthy things too. But Khan Academy has been great. So we put him on Khan Academy. But here's the thing we did with him. The first time he did it, he fussed. And they're going to fight you because it's different. We all know that, it's different. It's new. What we got to do? So here's what we did. We stayed positive and we told him, look, treat it like a teacher. The videos are short. Hey, make notes. Sit like you would in class, the way we used to. Teacher teaches, we write it down. So write it down, pause it, rewind it, and go for it. All right. So that's stuff we made him do. Once he started doing that, he started retaining more of the information, and it actually he became engaged. And as a history person, I like it because then he can sit there and go, "Hey, Dad, what's going on? This is what we're talking about." And so I'm able to now talk about another aspect of my life, what I enjoy, which is history, and tell the stories, because history is nothing but telling stories. And then we look at cause and effect and all of those things. So, as well as reading, guys, we got to read. Talked to the part of the wrestling team that I'm with right before we got out, and our challenge was read. There used to be a time where it was considered masculine to be well-read, to be intelligent. That was considered cool. But now with social media and all this stuff, it's like seems to have gone out the window. And how macho can you be? And there's nothing wrong with being a big, strong, tough guy and being knowledgeable. So we have him reading. He's got to read, pick it, whatever it is. And some things that I do, I love to read. I used to hated it. Gosh, I hated it. And then all of a sudden a light just clicked, just like that. Something went off in a college, and ever since then I've just been reading nonstop. At night, I'll tell you right now, at night is fiction. So fiction books, that's what I'm reading. So that way I can kind of shut off, turn my brain off, turn everything off, kind of get focused off. Otherwise, I'm listening to different things, self-help books. All right, so I've been listening to those for years, and one of those things, and I said listening because I do read them, especially that, but right now what I do is a lot of times is I just do audiobooks, because since I do run, while I'm running, it's a way I'm either listening to absolutely nothing, or I find a book or a subject matter that I'm interested in, and I read it. And read it meaning I'm listening to it. And if I really enjoy it, then what I will do after that is I will go and purchase the book, and I'll reread it again. That way I make my notes and everything in it. So that's just the way that I take care of that. And if you listen to several people that become successful, these are successful business people, these are successful athletes, teachers, coaches, they'll say the same thing. This is kind of what they've done. How can I utilize all of my time? And so whenever I'm running, that's what I'm doing. The next step that they said, and this is something that I've done, is they said start off on the normal setting, and then what you'll find is that you start to speed it up and speed it up and speed it up. And so you get to where right now I'm able to, if a book is on audio for 6 hours, I'm able to listen to it in half that time. So I'm up to 2, which my family hears it and they're like, oh my gosh, they think it's going so fast. But to me, when I slow it back down, everything is so slow. So those are some steps and things that I'm doing. My wife is doing the same thing. She's doing schoolwork with our kids. She's putting things together. Both of us teach electives now, but she's engineering computer science, so she's digging through Project Lead the Way, trying to find stuff. She's tutoring students online. Actually, that's what she's doing right now. So we are finding ways to continue to expand ourselves as we go through. Family, like we said, we're all in this together. I mean, you're here, you're stuck. So there's a little movement here and there because we have some freedoms. We can go here and there. We do try to get out and go because the state parks are open, and try to get to the state parks and hit some trails. And with the running and things that I've done, there's some back countries and things we can get them out and avoid. We'll take the hammocks and we'll just get up early, head out, set up the hammocks somewhere in the shade by a river, and just spend the day outside soaking in vitamin D. Hey, if you want to stay healthy, vitamin D, vitamin C, natural stuff right there. So we're kind of doing that outside of exercising and doing schoolwork together. So, I mean, usually if you're exercising, you're going to be interacting. So that's kind of what my son and I do right now with his training, both lifting. Like I said, I do the running. We'll be doing some wrestling on our mat. We're very fortunate to have that. We'll be showing you some of that later on this week. Hey, family dinners are back. So family dinners are back, which we enjoy. We're not going to lie. Sometimes we're like some of you guys because we have family movie night. So family movie night, cook. Heck, yeah. Family dinner night, sitting on the couch. Boom. All right, hey, whose night is it? Tonight's your night. All right, you pick the movie. Our rule, though, is 3 of the 4 have to agree. So 3 of the 4 have to agree. We're going to watch that movie. And we're going to sit there and we're going to enjoy it and just have that time as a family. Last night, it was like, hey, we're going to sit down at the table as a family. So we kind of set those boundaries, but we're eating as a family again, which is what most cultures in the world, oh my gosh, I just talking about learning, I just love, I mean, that's what most cultures in the world is like, boom, you got to have that family time. So it's good to have that. We will have family game night, not as much, and really it's just because of the competitive nature of our family. So, but we do have those at the end of the night, some nights as well. Family craft time. So we've done, you guys have been seeing it. My wife did it. She taped off part of the driveway. The kids did sidewalk chalk. We got out the paint. The kids have painted flower pots. We're going to eventually do paintings up in our sunroom. We'll show you some of that. Teaching them how to sketch. We're going to be doing some building. So we're going to be building some fitness equipment. We're just going to, just teaching the kids the life skills so that they don't have to worry about anything. And then here's something a lot of people forget. Separate from your kids. Separate from your spouse. You and your spouse do need time together. Don't get me wrong about that. But we have had times where we all look at each other and we go away. So for the next hour, everybody goes away. We all have our own time to sit, relax, and decompress, whatever it might be. But that's important too, so you have your time. So maybe that's you go take a nap. Maybe that is you go veg on something. Maybe that's a time where you just go and meditate, whatever it might be. But you have to take time for you as far as this thing goes on. So far, key has been be positive, and not focus on the negative media, not focus on the political side, not focus on negative social media. I cannot stand stupidity. My family will tell you that. So the stupidity stuff that's out there on social media too. Yeah, I do enjoy a good meme like anybody else, but at a time, sometimes I'm like, hey, that's going too far. But positivity, that's definitely it. Yes, we do talk to our kids about what's going on and how we're going to be better outside of this. We try to give them factual information, non-biased information, so that especially our high schooler, so he can make his own decision, which that's important as they go through. Our daughter the same way. We just kind of narrow it down a little bit, but they are impacted. Their lives are changed. Our lives are changed. I mean, this is something that we never thought this day would come. I mean, it's not one of those things in education. They sat down when I was in school 20 years ago going, all right, there's going to come a day where we're going to shut school down and you're going to do it on our computers. No. And probably people that just graduated probably the same way. So that's not it. We know we have to be flexible and embrace the situation. If we are a very rigid person, and I am, especially with school and I like structure. But my structure also has to be able to flex and change. So that's why, whenever we make this, we sat down with each kid yesterday. And my wife and I didn't make this, didn't tell you that. So, but we brought each kid down. They were like, oh, principal's office, yeah. But we went through it with them and we told them, hey, we're making this, but also know that next week and as we get your school schedule, this can change. This will change. And that's important to know that, sometimes what's going on. So we made my daughters, and actually after we made it, printed it, something's changed. So be positive, be flexible, and embrace it. The more you fight it, the more you resist it. There's nothing we can do about it. So just embrace it. This is what it is. If you don't do that, this is going to be negative. You're going to have a bad attitude. You're going to be worse after it. And that's not the purpose of this video. This video is to make sure you guys know, hey, we're just like everybody else. Like as teachers, everybody else, we're all distraught. We're all what's going on. Fortunately, right now, nobody in my family immediately has been impacted. But there are people that, through my coaching and teaching, that either know someone or because of their health situation, they are having to and having older parents and in-laws. You got to look after them. So be positive about it, okay? If you're worried, follow the protocols. So follow the protocols, do what you're supposed to, do what they're asking you to do what the legitimate doctors are asking you to do, and do your research just like you would anything else. If you do those, you'll be fine. So in closing, first full episode, like I said, we're going to hit you up later on this week. I'm telling you that in a minute, but basically here's what it comes down to. Hey, don't get tuckered out with what's going on. Normal everyday life wears us down. The stress of this new situation may wear us down. Don't get tuckered out. Be positive. Be family. All right. And I mean, I really just can't emphasize enough. Be positive. Love each other, care for each other, and be there for each other with the ones that are there. So I'll see you later on this week. Next show that we're going to post this week is going to be how to stay active at home when you have no equipment. So we'll show you some of the stuff we have, but we're also going to put you through some fundamental skills, things that you can do when you have little to no equipment and what you can use at home. So until then, be safe, be well, and make sure you help each other out.